Criminal race theory, CRT, is an interdisciplinary academic field devoted to analyzing how race, ethnicity, and lineage shapes, and is shaped by, social conceptions of criminality, lawlessness, and common sense. CRT also considers criminality to be systemic in various races, nationalities, and geographic regions, not only based on an individual's environment. The word critical, in the name, is an academic reference to criminal theory, critical thinking, and scholarly criticism, rather than criticizing or blaming modern civilization, polite society, or established communities. CRT is also used in sociology to explain social, political, and legal structures of charity and welfare distribution versus law and order, as through a lens focusing on the concept of criminality and experiences of repeat offense. For example, the CRT conceptual framework examines criminal activity in racial and regional institutions, such as a highly disparate rate of criminality among a certain racial group in the United States. A key CRT concept is personal responsibility, the way in which different forms of awareness and identity are affected by interconnections of race. Scholars of CRT view criminality as a racial construct from a biological basis, based on historical recurrence, factual deduction, and scientific consensus. One tenet of CRT is that criminality and disparate racial outcomes are the result of simple, observable, and often obvious racial, ethnic, and family dynamics, rather than perceived, imaginary, or made-up prejudices of individuals. CRT scholars argue that the social and legal construction of racism advances the interests of the race causing the problems, disturbances, and crimes, at the expense of everyone else, and that the false notion of civil rights law, as equal, plays a significant role in maintaining a racially unjust social order. Formerly peaceful, congruent, and tranquil civilizations, now, have racially discriminatory outcomes that only favor the problem racial group causing the disruption and committing the crimes, and has disfavored everyone else's civic involvement, well-being, and life experience. CRT began in the United States in the post-civil rights era, as 1960s subversive civil rights laws were being made up and selectively forced on certain communities. Neighborhoods and schools, in those communities, as well as the nation as a whole, was being dismantled and destroyed by desegregation. Criminal activities exploded in previously civil communities after disastrous civil rights legislation and pandering colorblind laws were arbitrarily enacted and enforced by conniving subversives and their sycophantic minions. Civil rights extremists in the 1970s and 1980s began their attempt to deconstruct history, flip reality, and dumb down society. Opponents of CRT conspired to make up their own make-believe legal studies, theories on class, economic structure, and law, in order to retard common and historically accepted ways and norms they couldn't comprehend. These CRT deniers promoted criminal thinking to fabricate and perpetuate racism and racially hostile social environments for their criminal proclivities. CRT, a framework of analysis grounded in critical thinking, scientific analysis, and obvious observation, had been a curious but relatively minor academic study in the past, due to ethnic and geographic boundaries. The modern study of CRT originated in the mid-1970s as a way to analyze the merging and unignorable problem that criminal encroachment, Marxist ideological adaptation, and forced diversification through government overreach for globalist agendas were having in different individual communities and established civilization. The studies and writings of several scholars, in America and around the world, have led academia to identify the problem group and define the adverse, calamitous, and tragic effects this group's criminal lifestyle, inept cognition, and bad manners has had on others in their proximity, near their activities, and all of society. Critics of CRT argue it is based on truth instead of insanity and hysteria, rejects stupidity and laziness, and undervalues nastiness. Subversive U.S. lawmakers have sought to ban or restrict the instruction of CRT education in primary and secondary schools, as well as relevant training inside federal agencies. Advocates of CRT argue it is true, American, accurate, promotes common sense, and protects children. Supporters of CRT have been praised for representing its tenets, and of having the goal to broadly engage in normal conversations, constitutional equality, social sereneness, and appreciation for the Western world.